The chapel was completely silent. The cameras flashed outside, but inside, the air felt frozen. For months, the rumors had spread like wildfire across the country, whispering in dark corners and fueling furious online debates. Where was Prince Louis? Why had the youngest royal child suddenly vanished from public sight for weeks? While his parents stood before the nation with heavy eyes and trembling hands, the public was told it was just a routine precaution, a private matter for a young boy growing up in the spotlight. But behind closed palace doors, the reality was far more terrifying. A secret medical crisis had gripped Kensington Palace, one that pushed Prince William and Princess Catherine to the absolute brink of despair. Tonight, the walls of silence are finally breaking down. What were they hiding from the world? And why did the truth threaten to tear the royal family apart? For years, Prince Louis had captured the nation's heart with his playful antics, candid expressions, and joyful energy on the royal balcony. He was the lively spirit of the family, known for making funny faces and keeping his parents on their toes. But when he abruptly stopped appearing alongside Prince William and Princess Catherine, royal watchers immediately noticed the strange void. The media initially dismissed it as a simple scheduling conflict or a deliberate decision by the Prince and Princess of Wales to shield their young children from overexposure. After all, protecting their kids from the intense glare of the public had always been a top priority for the couple. However, the atmosphere surrounding the family told a very different, deeply unsettling story. Behind the scenes, anxiety was mounting by the day. Princess Catherine was seen looking visibly strained during charity outings, her famous, warm smile failing to mask the deep exhaustion etched into her eyes. Prince William canceled several key public appearances, citing urgent personal matters, which instantly sparked a massive frenzy of speculation across tabloid headlines. The joyous rhythm of the royal household was suddenly replaced by a suffocating, heavy tension that no official press release could hide. Whispers grew louder, and the public sensed that something was terribly wrong in the quiet halls of their home. As whispers of a hidden emergency grow louder, a leaked memo from a royal aide hints that Louis's absence has nothing to do with normal childhood privacy, and everything to do with a sudden, terrifying health scare. What really happened behind closed doors? This chapter dives deep into the immense psychological strain placed on William and Catherine as they tried to balance their grueling public duties with a private nightmare. To the outside world, they remained the picture of calm, composed royalty, attending charity events and waving gracefully to adoring crowds. But the documentary lens reveals the exhausting emotional toll of living a double life. Every single public wave required an incredible act of emotional endurance. Catherine spent her sleepless nights managing terrifying medical updates while preparing to face flashing cameras and cheering crowds the next morning. Meanwhile, William found himself torn in half between his lifelong duty to the crown and his desperate urge to protect his youngest son from harm. The narrative explores the crushing pressure of the British press, where every subtle expression is overanalyzed and every sudden absence is treated like a dark conspiracy. We see how this immense stress began to fracture their daily routines, forcing them to rely on a tight-knit circle of trusted staff, while keeping even their closest extended family members completely in the dark. The emotional stakes reached a boiling point when a stray photograph nearly leaked to the press, threatening to expose the family's fragile secret to the entire world before they were ready to share it. Just as the royal couple successfully blocks the leaked photo, a sudden nighttime medical emergency forces Prince Louis to be rushed out of Kensington Palace under police escort. Where are they heading, and will they make it in time? The narrative captures the harrowing night Prince Louis was rushed to a confidential medical facility. The eerie quiet of London's dark streets cut through the silence as the royal convoy moved swiftly, carrying a terrified set of parents and their ailing child. Inside the hospital room, the sterile white lights and the steady, haunting hum of monitors painted a stark, cold contrast to the gold and velvet of palace life. Here, royal titles and status meant nothing. William and Catherine were simply panicked parents facing every family's worst nightmare. The chapter explores the exact nature of the health crisis. A sudden, severe respiratory complication that left specialized doctors fighting for hours to stabilize the young prince. We witness the emotional breakdown of Princess Catherine as she watched over her son with tear-filled eyes, alongside William's stoic attempt to remain strong while battling his own deep wave of helplessness. The heavy burden of responsibility weighed intensely on their shoulders. If the news leaked prematurely, the hospital could be swarmed by reporters, putting their son's safety and medical care in serious jeopardy. As the sun begins to rise over the city, the chief physician finally steps out of the room with a grave look on his face, holding test results that will change the course of the young prince's life forever. What did the doctors discover? Following the terrifying night at the hospital, Prince Louis was brought back to Adelaide Cottage to recover in strict seclusion. However, the emotional fallout within the family was far from over. This chapter examines the heavy psychological aftermath of the crisis on William and Catherine. The near loss of their son completely shattered their perspective on traditional royal duty, forcing them to reevaluate their entire lives under the public microscope. William experienced a wave of deep-seated trauma, drawing painful, unavoidable parallels to the agonizing secrecy surrounding his own mother's life and the lack of protection he felt as a child. Catherine, already dealing with her own private health battles during this stressful period, found herself stretched to her absolute physical and emotional limits. The strain occasionally spilled over into quiet, tense arguments behind closed doors, where they questioned the very institution they served. Why must their family's health and safety be constantly sacrificed for the sake of public entertainment? The chapter paints a poignant, intimate portrait of two people expected to comfort an entire nation while their own world was falling apart. With mounting public pressure and reporters closing in on the truth, William makes a bold, unprecedented decision that defies centuries of royal protocol. What is the prince planning to do? This chapter covers the dramatic turning point when William and Catherine finally decided to take total control of the narrative. Refusing to let malicious rumors and wild speculation dictate their son's story, they orchestrated a carefully planned public address. The atmosphere was thick with tension as television crews set up their equipment inside the historic walls of Windsor Castle. William and Catherine sat side by side, their faces lined with the clear emotional fatigue of the past few weeks, yet united by a fierce, protective resolve. When the cameras finally rolled, they did not hide behind rehearsed public relations jargon. Instead, they spoke with raw, trembling vulnerability about the medical emergency that nearly took their son away from them. They revealed the truth about Prince Louis's hidden struggle, a rare and frightening condition that required intensive medical care and a long recovery. The nation watched in stunned silence as the traditional veil of royal perfection was lifted, revealing a normal, deeply loving family that bleeds, worries, and fears just like anyone else. As the broadcast ends and the nation processes the shocking revelation, a wave of public empathy sweeps across the globe, but a lingering question remains. Can the monarchy ever truly be the same after this raw display of human vulnerability? In the wake of the historic public announcement, life inside the royal household began to settle into a new, cautious normal. Prince Louis made his triumphant, highly anticipated return to the public eye, stepping out onto the balcony with a cautious, sweet smile that melted the hearts of millions. But while the public rejoiced at his return, the internal reality for William and Catherine was much more complex. This chapter explores the lingering psychological scars left by the terrifying ordeal. Every cough, every sudden change in mood, instantly brought back the haunting memory of the hospital monitors and flashing emergency lights. The experience fundamentally altered how the Prince and Princess of Wales approached parenting. They implemented strict new boundaries with the media, carving out protected spaces where their children could simply be kids, far away from the prying lenses of long-range cameras. The chapter highlights a profound transformation. The once rigid royal traditionalists are now modern parents prioritizing mental health, family safety, and emotional honesty over archaic court expectations. As the dust finally settles on the crisis, a surprising archival document emerges from the palace archives, revealing that William and Catherine's protective stance mirrors a secret, historic battle fought by Queen Elizabeth decades ago. What is the hidden connection? The final chapter examines the broader cultural and national impact of the Prince Louis crisis. What started as a terrifying personal ordeal for a single family became a powerful cultural moment for the entire United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. The public reaction shifted from frantic curiosity to overwhelming compassion, shattering the traditional barrier of cold indifference that usually separates royalty from commoners. Millions of parents flooded social media with their own personal stories of medical scares and the terrifying job of protecting a sick child, creating an unprecedented wave of shared human connection. William and Catherine's decision to open up about their vulnerability proved that true strength does not mean hiding your pain. It means facing it together as a family. The narrative explores how this pivotal event redefined the modern monarchy, proving that empathy and transparency are far more powerful than crowns and carriages. The documentary closes with a serene, golden hour shot of Prince Louis playing safely in the royal gardens, laughing freely as his parents watch from a distance, finally at peace. As the final notes of the musical score fade out, a quiet, thought-provoking voiceover asks the ultimate question. In a world obsessed with royal perfection, what happens when the masks finally come off for good?